Hey Pisces, it's Angela with Grounded Dreamers. We're going to do a kind of mid-month update. Sorry, I'm a little bit late, but this will ride us out for the rest of the month. It's coming from the reading's going to come from the Earth Magic deck, the Oracle. And for you, Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising, right? I pulled fog, veiled, kind of being in a state where the answers aren't clear, or you don't have enough information to proceed, or you're just indecisive in general, maybe a little confusion, lack of clarity. If there's a situation for you that this aligns with, it makes sense. Definitely focus in on that while we're doing the Zen spread, the tarot spread. But if it's not something that's pertaining to you at this time, hang on to the information, because we'll see what the guidance says as a possible way to sort of clear that fog. Kind of one of the things about Pisces is you're really connected to the mystic and the unseen, and sort of more just higher connections to spirit that maybe others moving about their day don't always stay aware of. And so this could just represent, your quest to dive a little more into that sort of mystical side of life and uncover some of the things that are unseen in general, on a spiritual path. But it could also simply pertain to an event or a situation or a perception that you have in your life. Okay, let's see what we got here for Pisces. Okay, so we have a starting point here, and then we have inner energies that support that, sort of unseen energies sometimes, but things that go on within you, and then your external world, the way it manifests in your external existence, the key to moving forward here. And then this next level is having moved forward, transforming this situation, sort of transforming this idea of being foggy, having things not be so crystal clear for us. Okay, so your starting point, look, is suppression. So look, Pisces, this is, the first thing that comes to me when I pulled that is the holding down and the pushing down of our feelings or our desires as it relates to anything going on in our life. Holding those energies down, I think, adds to this fog. It adds to the confusion. It's almost like they go hand in hand. Yeah, we all have a little bit of uncertainty at times, and we want to go on the path where our higher clarity is. Sometimes that's just a matter of waiting it out. But if we're in the process of that, also pushing down or denying or finding diversionary tactics to sway away from our core experience, some core feeling that could be maybe a little daunting, or maybe a little bit maybe even a little, if you find yourself having some fear coming up around it, we want to sometimes push it away. That's one of the ways that we deal with some uncomfortable situations. But what that, I think, does is create more fog, and you have less clarity going forward. So I would say for some of you, just keep an eye on those things that you kind of push away, or like say you have a vice that you turn to when things get hard. Some people just like to go and work out or run, or talk a lot, talk to their friends on the phone, or some people turn to substances or food, or any way that we have to divert ourselves from the presence of the situation, even if it's uncomfortable, is adding to the confusion, adding to the fog. So that's just something to keep in mind right off the bat. Internally, what's underneath that is politics. Yeah. So sometimes for some of us, we want to show up as if we got it together, right? Even if we are encountering something difficult and then finding ourselves pushing it away or tamping it down within us. And then sometimes that's driven by the desire to appear okay, to have a little mask on to kind of cover up the fact that it's difficult right now. Because this is in the internal position, it's not saying you show up fake or you show up masked or inauthentic. It's this inner battle that kind of goes on within that's saying, oof, I really need it to look like I've got it together. So when this thing took me down, right, this thing kind of spun me out a little bit, I wanted to push it away. I wanted to ignore it and act as if everything's okay. Sometimes that works, and that gets us through enough to get through, to the other side, fake it till you make it kind of thing. But when it's something that's deeper, and like this suppression card kind of really shows the depth of the entanglement, you can see kind of some of those kind of look like, dried out trees or it looks a little bit like death, right? Like pushing stuff down to go away, go away for a while, right? And sometimes when it's that kind of a deeper type of vibration, then seeming okay doesn't really need to be the goal. And even though maybe that's like an internal reaction that a lot of us take on as a protective measure, but remember, it's adding to the fog. So what we're here to do is clear the fog, right? So your first two cards are just laying the groundwork for you to have some awareness as to how you could possibly respond to some of these uncomfortable situations, right? It's just to gain an awareness about it. It doesn't mean you're doing something wrong or bad or anything, but that, hey, does this go on a little bit for you? If it does, let's see how to proceed, okay? And if it doesn't, keep an eye out for it, right? For when you're feeling foggy and confused. In your external world, the combination of the awareness of the tendency to push things down and show, a happy face and make it seem like we're all okay. Look at that. It helps us to redirect and set our intentions properly. So this is external. This is flowering. This is saying that as long as we can tune in to our sort of habitual way of how we deal with the unseen, the unknown, something uncertain, we don't know how, maybe say, I'm going to make this light, but let's say you got in a big fight with your boss. I mean, maybe that's not so light for some people, but say you got in a big fight and you want to just push it away and act like nothing happened so that you can just get on with it, right? But what that creates is an uncertainty. Like, what is my relationship with my boss now? How has that affected them? Do I need to make amends? Do I need to, right? There's all these unclear notions of how to proceed because we've gotten this big fight and then I wanted to just get quiet about it and not talk about it and push it away. What this card here, this flowering card, is indicating is to shift that perspective, shift your intention, set an intention to transform this. Yeah, we got in a fight. I'm not sure how to proceed, but in my forward motion, I fully intend on clearing this up and letting things grow and get better from here, right? So that's your starting line there. Then we have this key to moving forward. So we're in the awareness of the fogginess. We're in the awareness of it. We realize sometimes some of the actions that we do, some of the things we choose to ignore or push away may contribute to that fogginess. So we want to make a shift and set an intention to clear it, right? To make it better, to grow from it. Okay. The key to moving forward through this is the possibilities card. So that's kind of saying, there's another way to do this. In the past, I may have done it by pushing it down or acting as if, right? But let's open up the playing field a little bit. Let's see, perhaps next time I get in a fight with my boss, I can make amends like immediately, like just say, I'm sorry for my behavior. Things were going on and I acted, I spoke too soon, or I jumped on that too hard, and I'm really sorry. Just to move it away. That's a possible way to clear it. Another thing is, if this interaction, say that blow up happened out of nowhere and it wasn't anything that you contributed to, right? That's another thing I want to point out. I want to point out that it's possible, boss, that you're maybe experiencing something else, but I feel like I was doing everything correctly and I had all my, whatever, like the communication is what I'm trying to say is important. But always know that there isn't just one way to resolve things, and there isn't just one way to get your clarity as far as that goes. The quickest way is to just bypass these steps, right? Then you have a little more clarity. But then situations come up where we're not clear, we're still not clear, right? Whether or not we actively ignored it or not, right? So let's see what our next steps are here. Yeah, okay. So what I got here is the Lovers, and this is compassion and bringing out the love from within you in all your dealings, in all your interactions, in all of your connections, and even with the fight with the boss, right? Trying to come from it from a place of love. None of us are really out here just wanting to pick fights, I mean, maybe some of us are, but most of us aren't. We just want to find a way to smooth it over so that we could still feel we're validated, and be able to interact with others in the smoothest way possible. The thing that turns it is your inner awareness, right? Because you could have two people with the same fears and vulnerabilities and worries and anxieties come together and create this kind of explosion, because all the fears and everything is on the surface, right? And it probably creates almost a chemical reaction. But if one of them is in sitting in their awareness and realizing, oh, I know where that fear is rooted. I see it. I can trace it, all the way to this incident, or, this part of my inner being. And the other could remain unaware of where, and not really want to explore that. And that's the suppression person, right? And not really want to explore it and just feel the anger and feel the anxiety and feel the worry and then express it out. Well, there's a gap there between, where it's rooted, what your inner being truly knows about the behavior you just did. There's a gap between those. And if we take the time for that sort of internal inquiry and sit with it and own the behaviors, that came out as a result of these vulnerabilities or fears that are baked deep inside us, then we have a better chance of smoothing it over and resolving it. If both people have that awareness, you're rocking now, right? Like if you're in a couple or a parent-child or any kind of a relationship or connection where you're both willing to explore and inquire and find your ownership in all your interactions, then things go much quicker, much smoother. You kind of bypass this suppression, fake until you make it kind of energy too, because it's just all, I'm human. I made an error in judgment. I spoke too soon. I made things, a little more volatile, and I'm sorry. And then you move past it. But when you don't have that inner connection, inner awareness, the inquiry going on, then sometimes we get quicker to this foggy state, right? Because we're not connecting all the dots. We're not finding what it's rooted in. So back to our cards here, we moved through the energies to this higher level of awareness, which starts with the love. And that is what's at the core of all of us, right? Sometimes we replace it with fear, but truly we're driven by love. Okay. Sometimes if we don't feel that love, if we don't feel our own connection to ourself and knowing that the divine has our back, if we don't feel that all the way down, it creates fearful situations. It creates the unknown, which turns into this foggy state. Internally, that supports this energy of love. And I'm going to call this sort of self-love, self-compassion, more self-awareness and honoring the self. Within you, you start to get this. I think that maybe there's some of you listening that do get this already, and that there's a big realization. All of these interactions that go sour with others, or all of this unknown and this sort of fear, because I'm carrying a lack of clarity, all of that is created by me, right? It starts at the root of who you are. Some of us get our ego involved, and then we don't want to, I didn't create this. I didn't take the actions to make myself confused, or I didn't make this relationship tenuous, but that's an ego perspective. I'm talking about energy and how, gosh, like at the root of it, everything we experience is created by us. Even if it's a hard lesson, even if it's a really scary situation where we don't know how to proceed, we've created that. So trust that, okay, what am I gaining from this? Where is my solution? Obviously something went wrong and I found myself here in this fog. How do I move past this? It starts with you and it ends with you, and it's transformed by you as well. And like I said, if you're talking about a relationship with someone else, it's theirs is on them too. But if both are not fully aware of this sort of magic formula, then that's where the troubles come. Miscommunication and, resentment and fear and anger and all those things come between you. But the work is, and your work here is to do your own, own your own. And then things start to become easier with others and clearer. And of course, the last card here in the top of the deck and the outcome of everything is harmony. So this is the goal, is to find that alignment, body, mind, spirit, and make sure we're as much as possible moving about our life with that alignment. Our mind, most of us let our mind take off and guide us, right? We have the worries, the what ifs, the confusion, the anxiety. Most of us will do that. But what we want to do is do more, create more practices where we are aligning body, mind, spirit. Whenever you have a spare moment, right? Take a deep breath and feel all that, all that life force moving through you in and out. This is the goal, right? To come from love, to realize it from within, to know that, that's what's guiding us, and to be aligned. This is not something that, very many of us, probably not one human, can achieve and hold all the time. Like, this is because life happens again. Then we get another, little wrench thrown into the situation, and we're a little bit foggy again. We don't really know how to proceed. So don't consider yourself, not winning if you're not getting here and staying here, right? If you arrive here and realize, oh, I'm in charge here. If I come from love, I can transform this. Each time something like that happens, you succeed. But remember, I think the very most important card is that starting point card, the suppression. Like, how do you address your difficulties? Think about that. What is your response when things get hard or scary or foggy? What is your response? And the ideal response, the goal, is to reach for that alignment and find from where in your being can you transform this. This is all kind of big and deep, and it's, a lot more than just this short reading, but it's a good start. It's a good practice, to clear the fog, go within, basically. So I guess you could have skipped all the way forward to this part and got the answer. But really, to clear the fog, go within, clear out anything that's stuck around in there, be in your full authenticity, drop the mask, set clear intentions, see beyond what you believe is the only path forward, see beyond it, go beyond that, and then reach for the love that's within you and align those energies. Pretty simple, but sometimes not easy to execute. So that's why we're here, learning day by day with one another. Okay. All right, Pisces, that'll do it for now. Thank you guys for being here. And, I'm working on some more content, some different content, inviting some guests in and, a couple of things like that. So that's going to be in a little while, though, probably not September, but I will see you in September for your soul guidance readings. Okay. Take care.